The author of Peace Among Primates had a few points that he was trying to get across. The first of which being primates can react based on nurture rather than nature. In a study in the 1970s done by Hans Kummer on two species of baboons living in Ethiopia. Both species have very different social structures. He observed that the female Hymidrus baboons will approach a threatening male to placate him, whereas a female savanna baboon will run away to avoid injury. To solidify this study, he trapped an adult female baboon from each troop and released them into the other troop. Initially, their species typical behavior was present. Then, within only 1 hour, a millennia of genetic differences and a lifetime of social rule was reversed, and they adapted to the new troops that they entered. The second point that the author tried to make was that cultural changes can happen based on new circumstances and population change. The author of this article, Peace Among Primates, did an observation in the 1980s and 1990s of social changes due to selective bottleneck. In the 1980s, there was a troop of baboons that had a territory that contained a tourist lodge. The baboons shifted from searching the forest for food to finding an abundance of food thrown out in the dumpsters of the tourist lodge. The males in another neighboring troop of olive savanna baboons which was a typically violent troop, started to attack the dumpster diving baboons for their easy food stores. Eventually, there was a tuberculosis outbreak due to bad meat in the garbage. This caused a selective bottleneck in the olive savanna troop, and all the males that had eaten from the garbage had died out. This caused a dramatic shift in the violent social behavior of that troop. The male hierarchy loosened. They started to share contested resources, and males even groomed other males, which before this was completely unprecedented. Even 20 years later, this new cultural behavior of less violence continued. The social structure changed and remained changed, all due to a population shift caused by a non-genetic selective bottleneck. In addition to this, normally when new male baboons transfer into the olive savanna troop, it takes years for them to be able to gain a social status among the other baboons. Normally the females would completely ignore them and they'd be very low ranking members in the social structure. But since this cultural shift happened when they lost all the violent males, now when new baboons, male baboons come into the troop, they are almost immediately accepted by the females and gain a near equal status amongst the rest of the baboons of that troop. The last point the author was trying to make was that humans have tendencies of both violence and tranquility. Studies have shown that violence can be both natural and cultural, as well as tranquility. Humans, over time, have been shown to be capable of being able to live in small, tranquil groups, but at the same time can be violent towards outsiders. Some believe that humans have hardwired xenophobia because other races might be seen as an outside group. A study showed of the amygdala that it can be activated when showing someone a picture of someone from a different race. This can happen even when it's shown subliminally or so fast that the conscious mind doesn't pick up on it. But if you do this same test on someone who lives in an environment where they continually interact with other races, then the amygdala is not activated, meaning that culturally, if you're used to being with people that might be considered outside a group from your own, then you're not going to have that same chemical reaction in your brain. You can also see these changes on a cultural level. If you look at Germany and Japan, for example, there was the culture when they were attacking the rest of the world basically, and it was a very violent time period, and now they're both incredibly peaceful countries. The same with Sweden in the 17th century. They were rampaging through Europe, and now they're known to be one of the most tranquil countries on earth. So studies shown over time that humans can both have a violent nature, but also that can change and they can be peaceful due to their culture as well. Thank you.